Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jasodanandana Gopi Jana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Gopi Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yasodanandana Gopi Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Gopi Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Trinadapi Sunichena Taradiva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. Hare Nama Hare Nama Vikivalam Kalo Nastyeva Gatiranyata. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are in the Purushottama-masa, and so I have prepared a special class about the origin of this sacred month. And I've already done one class on this. This is my second, and I'm going to do a third class for the devotees of Santiago next Sunday. So you are going to hear and you're going to get so enlivened. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So the first part is taken from Srila Prabhupada's Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto. Then, in Satya Yuga, the lotus-eyed Supreme Personality of Godhead, being pleased, showed himself to Kardama Muni and displayed his transcendental form, which can be understood only through the Vedas. Kardama Muni saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is free from material contamination, and he saw him in his eternal form, effulgent like the sun. He was wearing a garland of white lotus flowers and water lilies. The Lord was clad in spotless yellow silk, and his lotus face was fringed with slick, dark locks of curly hair. Adorned with a crown and earrings, he held his characteristic conch, disc, and mace in 3 of his hands, and a white lily in the 4th. He glanced about in a happy, smiling mood, which captivates the hearts of all devotees. A golden streak on his chest, the famous Kaustubha gem suspended from his neck. He stood in the air with his lotus feet placed on the shoulders of Garuda. And when Kardama Muni actually realized the Supreme Personality of Godhead in person, Kardama was greatly satisfied because his transcendental desire was fulfilled. Kardama fell on the ground with his head bowed in order to offer obeisances unto the lotus feet of the Lord. Kardama's heart, naturally full of love of God, with folded hands, satisfied the Lord with prayers. So this is one of the prayers that Kardama recited. Nate Jaraksha Brahmir Ayur Ishang Trayodasharang Tri Shatang Shasti Parva Shanemi Ananta Chadiyat Trinabi Karala Sroto Jagad Achidya Dhavat. O Lord, your wheel, which has 3 naves, rotates around the axis of the imperishable Brahman. It has 13 spokes, 360 joints, 6 rims, and numberless leaves carved upon it. And through its revolution, cuts short the lifespan of the entire creation. This wheel of tremendous philosophy cannot touch the lifespan of the devotees of the Lord. Here is Prabhupada's purport to this verse, and now you will see why I selected this particular section. Prabhupada writes, the time factor cannot affect the span of life of the devotees. In Bhagavad Gita it is stated that a little execution of devotional service saves one from the greatest danger. Neha vikrama nashosti pratyavayo navidyate svalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. The greatest danger is transmigration of the soul from one body to another, and only devotional service to the Lord can stop this process. It is stated in the Vedic literatures, Haring vina namritam taranti. Without the mercy of the Lord, one cannot stop the cycle of birth and death. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, it is also stated, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tatvataha tyaktva dehang punar janma naiti mameti sorjuna. Only by understanding the transcendental nature of the Lord and his activities, his appearance and disappearance, can one stop the cycle of death and go back to him. The time factor is divided into many fractions of moments, hours, months, years, periods, seasons, etc. All the divisions in this verse are determined according to astronomical calculations of Vedic literature. There are 6 seasons called ritus, and there is also the period of 4 months called Chaturmasya. 3 periods of 4 months complete 1 year. According to Vedic astronomical calculations, there are 13 months. The 13th month is called Adimas or Malamas and is added every 3rd year. The time factor, however, cannot touch the lifespan of the devotees. For in another verse it is stated, Ayur harati vai pungsam udyan astang chayan asau tasyarte yakshano nita utamashloka vartaya. As the sun rises and sets, it takes away the life of all living entities, but it cannot take away the life of those who are engaged in devotional service. Time is compared herein to a big wheel which has 360 joints, 6 rims in the shape of seasons, and numberless leaves in the shape of moments. It rotates on the eternal existence Brahman. So to repeat, according to Vedic astronomical calculations, there are 13 months. The 13th month is called Adimas or Malamas and is added every 3rd year. So that is this year. Now we're going to find out why it is known as Malamas. So where we're going to go? We're going to go to the Padma Purana, and we're going to find out how this all came about. If you're ready to proceed, repeat after me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Once upon a time, thousands of sages came together in the holy place called Naimisharanya in order to perform sacrifice. And to their very good fortune, the great sage Sutta Goswami, who had been traveling to different pilgrimage sites, arrived there along with his disciples. The sages present were very enlivened to see Sutta, and they all stood up immediately to pay respects to that great sage. They offered him a very nice Vyasasan, and with folded hands requested him to sit down. "Oh, Suttaji, all of us are humbly requesting you to please tell us something about the wonderful activities and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are many thousands of such narrations, but we want to listen to the most perfect one, following which we can all be delivered from this material ocean and return back to Godhead." Hearing this request made by the sages, headed by Shaunaka Rishi, Sutta Goswami began to speak. "O sages, please listen to me. I first went to Pushkar Tirtha, then after visiting thousands of other holy places, I reached Hastinapur, and there on the bank of the Ganges, I saw thousands of sages sitting together with Parikshit Maharaj. Just then, the great sage Shukadeva Goswami appeared, and all the sages present paid him proper respect, rising from their seats with folded hands. all the sages unanimously offered the lotus Vyasasan to Shukadeva Goswami, which is meant for the speaker who would recite Krishna Katha to Parikshit Maharaj. O sages, I have just come from Hastinapur, where I heard the whole entire Srimad Bhagavatam from the lotus mouth of Shukadev. So now I will tell you about the all-attractive activities and pastimes of the Lord. Once, long ago, Sri Narada Muni reached Badarik Ashram, the residence of Lord Narayana Rishi. The river Alakananda was flowing down from his lotus feet. Narada paid obeisances to Narayan and then prayed, O Lord of the demigods, O ocean of mercy, O master of creation, you are ever truthful. You are the essence of all truths, and so I am paying my obeisances unto you. O Lord, in this material world, all living entities are busily engaged in sense gratification. They have all forgotten the ultimate goal of life. Therefore, please explain something which will be helpful both for householders as well as sages in the renounced order like me. Please tell us something that will be helpful in order to attain self-realization and return back to Godhead. Hearing the sweet words of Narada, Lord Narayan smiled and then spoke. O Narada, please listen to narrations about the supremely pious pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, for that will diminish all sinful reactions. O Narada, you already know of all the activities of the Supreme Lord, but for the benefit of others, you are asking me again. So now I will tell you about the glories of the sacred Purushottama month, which is fully potent to grant not only material happiness, but also qualify one to return back to Godhead at the end of life. So just see how auspicious this Purushottama-masa is. Fully potent to grant not only material happiness, but qualify one to go back home, back to Godhead. Narada then inquired, O Lord, I have heard the glories of all months, including Kartik, Chaitra, etc. But which month is Purushottam? O ocean of mercy, please tell me all about this sacred month. What is the way to glorify this month? What should I do in this month? How should I take bath? How should I give charity? What should I chant? Who should I worship? Should I observe fasting in this month? Please tell me everything in detail. O sages, after hearing all these questions from Narada, Lord Narayan began to speak from his lotus-like mouth. O Narada, I am going to tell you something which was previously explained by Lord Sri Krishna to Maharaj Yudhishthir. So, we've gone from one conversation to another conversation to another conversation. So, that's the way this Vedic literature goes. One conversation into another, into another, into another. Once, Pandava Dharmaraj lost everything. His empire, his palace, and even his chaste wife Draupadi. He lost it to Duryodhan in gambling match. At that time, Draupadi was insulted by Dushasan in front of the whole royal assembly. But when Dushashan tried to strip Draupadi naked, she was saved from such a dangerous situation by Lord Sri Krishna himself. And after this incident, Yudhishthir Maharaj, along with his brothers and wife, left his kingdom and lived in Kamyaka forest. Once, Sri Krishna, the son of Devaki, visited the Pandavas in that forest. All the Pandavas, including Draupadi, were very happy to see their lord, and they forgot their painful forest life immediately. They thus felt enriched with renewed life just by taking darshan of Krishna, and that they thus paid obeisances to Krishna's lotus feet. Seeing the miserable living condition of the Pandavas, Lord Sri Krishna became very upset, and at the same time, Krishna especially became very angry towards Duryodhana. It appeared as if Krishna was going to destroy the whole universe. And so the Pandavas became fearful, and they all began to pray to Krishna in a humble mood. Listening to the humble prayers of Arjuna, Krishna composed himself and then said, "O Arjuna, being very pleased with all of you Pandavas, and being controlled by your devotion and friendship towards me, I will now tell you about the wonderful history of Purushottama month. Once upon a time, by the arrangement of providence, an extra month came to this world. Everyone took this month to be most inauspicious, and even saw it to be just like stool. Just as one should not touch stool, so this month was also viewed as untouchable. It was constantly unprotected and blasphemed, and it was rejected by everyone as an improper time for any religious or auspicious activity. Being so rejected by all human beings, and constantly hearing only bad words and blasphemy, this extra month became very sad. She went to Vaikuntha to explain her sorrowful situation to the Lord. Seeing Lord Vishnu on his Singgasana, she fell down at his lotus feet in a mood of sorrow and grief. Tears were falling profusely from her eyes. She thus started praying to the Lord. "O ocean of mercy, I have come to you helpless. I have been rejected and blasphemed by all peoples of the world. Please protect me. Please show me your mercy. Please do not be indifferent towards me." And upon saying these words, the extra month continued crying in front of Lord Vishnu and sat down before him in a dejected mood. Seeing the humble and deplorable position of the extra month, Lord Vishnu became very merciful towards her. "Do not lament, for I shall give you all protection from all of your miseries. Please stop crying, because it is not proper to lament after taking shelter at my lotus feet." Being so consoled by the Lord, the extra month began speaking in open-hearted language. "O Lord, you know all about my painful condition. No one is in a more miserable situation than me. First of all other months, years, days, nights, directions are being protected by you, and so they are always moving fearlessly in their unique, charming moods. But I, being an extra month, do not have any name. I do not have any protector, nor do I have a husband to give me shelter. In fact, all the demigods and human beings have rejected me for any kind of auspicious activity. So for this reason, O Lord, I want to die immediately. Lord Narayan then said, O Narada, this extra month repeatedly said, I want to die, I want to die, I want to die. Then she fainted at the feet of the Lord of Vaikuntha. Being requested by Lord Vishnu, Garuda started fanning the extra month, and after some time, she got up and began to speak again. O Lord of the universe, I am in need of your shelter, so please protect me. Lord Vishnu then told the extra month, O child, please do not lament. All of your miserable conditions will be finished very soon. Get up and come with me, and we shall go to Goloka Vrindavan. That's why I have the picture in the back, because that's now where we're going. We're going to Goloka Vrindavan. All aboard! This Goloka Vrindavan is unattainable even by great yogis. Goloka is the abode of Lord Sri Krishna. There, Lord Sri Krishna lives in his two-handed form, surrounded by gopis and enjoying his eternal pastimes. The Supreme Sri Krishna of Goloka will certainly deliver you from all your miseries. Please come with me. So I find this fascinating. Lord Vishnu could not help her. So this is a job only for Krishna. Sri Krishna Bhagavan ki. We love Krishna. Speaking in this way, Lord Vishnu took Malamas, the extra month, by the hand to Goloka Vrindavan. And from a distant place, Lord Vishnu and the extra month observed the effulgence of Goloka. This dazzling effulgence automatically forced Malamas to close her eyes. Therefore, keeping the extra month behind him, Lord Vishnu proceeded further until he reached the main gate. There, the doorkeeper paid respects to Lord Vishnu. Having reached the supreme abode, Lord Vishnu met Lord Sri Krishna, who was surrounded by many devoted gopis. So this is also amazing. I never heard of such a thing before. Lord Vishnu meeting Lord Krishna. So many things to learn. Lord Vishnu, who is the husband of Rama Devi, paid obeisances to Lord Krishna. Then he made the extra month also offer her obeisances at the lotus feet of Krishna, even though she was crying loudly. My God. Let's all offer respects to Lord Sri Krishna. Let's all offer respects. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey Krishna Karana Sindho, Dina Bandho Jagatpate, Gopesha, Gopika Kanta, Sri Radha Kanta, Namostute. Immediately, Sri Krishna asked, why is she crying? She is in Goloka Vrindavan. Why is she crying? Hearing these words from Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu got up from his seat and started explaining the whole miserable condition of Malamas. He thus begged Krishna to please protect this unprotected month. O Lord, no one except you can save this extra month from her hellish condition and thus give her full protection. Having said these words, Lord Vishnu then remained standing in front of Lord Krishna with folded hands. Going back now to Sutta Goswami, we can remember, conversation in a conversation. I've even forgotten how many conversations are going on. Sutta Goswami then spoke. Lord Vishnu took his seat and spoke very confidential words to Lord Vishnu. O sages, listen carefully, for I'm now going to share these words with all of you. Sri Krishna then said, O Vishnu, you have done a very great deed by bringing this extra month to me. You will thus become even more famous for performing this act. Because you have accepted this Malamas, I will now also accept her. I shall make this poor extra month just like me in quality, fame, opulence, realization, success, and in giving benediction to devotees. Wow. This is how special this Purushottama-masa is. Just take the words of Krishna. Just accept. I am bestowing all of my divine qualities in this abused month. Being named after me, this month will be famous as Purushottam month forever. O Janardhan, now that she has imbued my qualities, I myself will become the husband and protector of this Purushottam month. And being equal to me, this month will be the master of all other months. Now this month will become worshipable by one and all. Everyone should pay their obeisances to her, and everyone should worship her. This month is exactly as powerful as me to give any type of benediction to its observer. I am making this month desire-free, unlike all other months, which are full of some desire or another. The worshiper of this month will be able to burn all one's past sinful reactions to ashes. Should I say that again? The worshiper of this month will be able to burn all one's past sinful reactions to ashes. And after enjoying a blissful life in the material world, will return back to Godhead. So I think we should all worship Purushottama-masa. Yes. Lord Sri Krishna continued, O Vishnu Garuda Dwaja, my Goloka is unattainable to the performers of austerities, Mahatmas engaged in pious activities, to people who simply maintain celibacy, or to those who fast throughout their whole life duration. Just by observing Purushottam month and becoming a devotee, notice, you have to become a devotee. One can easily cross over this material ocean and return back to Godhead. Observance of this Purushottam month is the best of all austerities. Just as a farmer produces a rich harvest by planting seeds in a nicely cultivated land, so an intelligent person who practices devotional service towards the Supreme Lord in this Purushottam month will enjoy a blissful life while in this world, and after leaving the body will return back to Godhead. So you just have to do devotional service. What are you doing right now? Shravanam. Hopefully, every day you're doing chantanam, kirtanam, japanam. Some of you are worshiping your deities at home. Just see. Do that. Continue to do that in this month. Krishna continued to speak. But an unfortunate, ignorant person who does not perform any japa, who does not give any charity, who does not pay respects to me or my devotees, who does not behave properly to brahmanas, who makes enmity with others, and who blasphemes this Purushottama month, that person will go to hell for an unlimited period. Wow, that scares me. Krishna continued, how can a person make one's life successful unless one performs devotional service in this Purushottama month? A person who is fully engaged in sense gratification and who does not give any special importance to this sacred month becomes the best candidate for hell. Therefore, all human beings should perform some devotional service in this Purushottama month. And here's how to do it. By doing the following: taking a bath in a holy river, worshiping me, Sri Krishna, by chanting my holy name, giving in charity. Okay? 3 things. Taking bath in a holy river, chanting Krishna's holy name, giving charity. A fortunate person who follows my instructions and observes this Purushottama month properly and in a faithful way, worships me, will attain fame, opulence, and good progeny in this life. After enjoying a happy life, one will return to Goloka Dham. Notice, return, just like Prabhupada teaches. Originally, we were with Krishna. By following my instructions, everyone should worship this sacred month. I have now made it the best among all other months. O Vishnu, O husband of Rama Devi, give up all kinds of mental speculations about this extra month. Just take this Purushottama month with you to your Vaikuntha abode. After narrating this brief history of Purushottama month, Lord Sri Krishna glanced very mercifully upon Yudhishthir and Draupadi and then began speaking. Remember, as I said, conversation within. So Krishna has been visiting and speaking to the Pandavas while they're in exile in the forest. That's where we are now. Now listen, Krishna is so amazing. Listen to what Krishna tells Draupadi and the Pandavas while they're in the forest. First, he's speaking to Arjuna, of course. Who's Krishna's best friend? Arjuna. O lion among men, can you now understand the reason why you Pandavas are suffering? It is because you did not acknowledge or honor the presence of Purushottama month. That month which is most dear to Vrindavan Chandra has passed. But you Pandavas were in the forest and did not worship Purushottama month. So now you are suffering. You have been following the ritualistic principles given to you by Vyasadeva. But unless you worship Purushottama-masa, you cannot perform pure devotional service to me. Now, this is the part I really like. Krishna then continued, now I'm going to narrate a famous historical event concerning the previous birth of Draupadi. In your previous birth, Draupadi, you were the daughter of a great Brahmin sage named Medhavi. Your mother died when you were a small child, and so you were under the care of your father. Day by day, you grew to full blooming youth. You were very beautiful, but your father was not interested in arranging your marriage. Seeing your other girlfriends with their husbands and young children, you passed your days in a very miserable way. And in the meantime, your father passed away from this material world while uttering the sacred name Hari. Everybody, Hari. This made you even more miserable. Fortunately, the great sage Durvasa Muni appeared in your ashram shortly after your father's death. Seeing the great sage, you paid obeisances and respectfully worshipped Durvasa. You offered flowers and fruits. When Durvasa expressed his pleasure by your reception, you began lamenting and crying before him. Being concerned, Durvasa inquired about your lamentation. You then began to speak. O great Saint Durvasa, you know everything past, present, and future. As you see, I have no shelter in this world. I have lost all of my relatives. My parents have passed away, and I have no elder brother, and I am also unmarried. And therefore, please do something. Please help me. Please give me some advice in order to relieve me from this miserable condition. So after listening to your prayer, Durvasa began to consider the unfortunate condition you were in, and Durvasa decided to show mercy towards you. Durvasa Rishi then began to speak. O beautiful one, 3 months from now, the most auspicious Purushottama month will begin. This sacred month is most dear to Lord Sri Krishna. Just by taking a holy bath in this month, a man or woman can become completely sinless. This Purushottama month is more glorious than all other months, including Kartik. Including Kartik. The glories of all other months is not equal to 1/16 of the glories of Purushottama-masa. The merit of a person who takes a holy bath even once in this month is equal to the merit of taking bath in the Ganges for 12,000 years. 12,000 years, or the merit achieved by a person who takes a bath in the holy water of the Ganges or Godavari when Jupiter enters the house of Leo. If you will take a holy bath, give in charity, and chant the holy name of Krishna during this month, all your miseries will go away. Now, yesterday, I visited Krishna Kumar and I sprinkled him with Ganga Jal. So Krishna Kumar, all your misery should now go away. Please have faith, Krishna Kumar. Please have faith. Now, if you will take a holy bath, give in charity. Krishna Kumar did that also. He gave charity yesterday to me. And if you chant the holy name, did you chant Krishna Kumar? Huh? Good. If you do that during this month, all of your miseries will go away. You will attain all kinds of perfection, and all of your desires will be fulfilled. Please follow my advice. Please do not forget to worship Purushottama month very sincerely. After speaking these words, Durvasa remained silent. Unfortunately, Draupadi, in your previous life, you did not believe the words of Durvasa, and rather you became angry and started blaspheming. Oh, great sage, you must be lying. How could this extra month, which is also called Malamas, stool month, be superior to other great months like Magh, Kartik, and Vaishakha? Nah, I cannot believe your words. You are trying to cheat me. This extra month is known to be most abominable for any kind of pious activity. Hearing these words, Durvasa became very angry. His whole body started burning and his eyes became red. But remembering your helpless condition, Durvasa consciously controlled himself, and he told you, "O ignorant soul, I am not going to curse you because your father was a good friend of mine. You are in such a helpless condition, being an ignorant child, you cannot understand the Shastra conclusion. I am not going to take your offenses towards me seriously, but at the same time, I cannot and should not tolerate your offenses towards Purushottama. So in your next life, you will certainly reap the results of all of your offensive words." The great sage Durvasa hurriedly left the place in order to perform service for Lord Narayan. Lord Krishna began speaking again to Arjuna. "O sinless one, when Durvasa Muni left that place, Draupadi, in her previous birth as the daughter of a Brahmana, lost all of her opulences within a moment. Being an offender to Purushottama month, her body began to look very ugly, and she lost all of her bodily effulgence. She then decided to worship Lord Shiva, who is known as Ashutosh, one who is very easily pleased. You then began to perform great austerities to please Lord Shiva, the husband of Parvati. You continued your austerity for 9,000 years. In the summer season, you would sit in meditation, surrounded by fire under the hot blazing sun. In the winter, you meditated under freezing cold water. Observing your great austerities, even the demigods became fearful. Lord Shankara then appeared before the Brahmana girl because he was pleased by your worship and austerities. When Lord Shiva appeared before you, you immediately stood up rejuvenated, and in the presence of Lord Shiva, all of your bodily weakness disappeared, and again you started to look beautiful. Seeing Lord Shiva in front of you, you started to worship him within your mind, and then began to recite nice prayers to please him. Being very pleased with you, Lord Shiva said, "O great performer of austerity, all good fortune to you. Now, please ask some boon from me, for I am pleased with you and shall grant whatever you want." Hearing these words from the mouth of Lord Shiva, you said, "O friend of the poor, if you are indeed pleased with me, then please give me a husband." Repeatedly speaking the same words, Give me a husband. Give me a husband. Give me a husband. Give me a husband. Give me a husband 5 times. Then the girl fell silent. Lord Shiva replied, "Let it be. You have asked for a husband 5 times? Ha! You will now get 5 husbands." Hearing Lord Shiva's words, you thus became very ashamed. You said, "O Lord, it is most abominable for a girl to have 5 husbands. Please retract your words." Lord Shiva then said very gravely, "Oh, that isn't possible for me. What you have asked from me will be granted. You will get 5 husbands in your next life. Previously, you offended Purushottama by not following the kind advice of sage Durvasa. O Brahmana girl, there is no difference between the body of Durvasa and mine. All the demigods, including Lord Brahma, and all the great saints like Narada, worship this Purushottama month in accord with the order of Lord Sri Krishna. A devotee of Purushottama month achieves all good fortune in this life, and at the end of one's life goes back to Golokadam, the abode of Lord Sri Krishna. And so, being an offender to this sacred Purushottama month, you will get 5 husbands in your next life." The girl became remorseful, but Lord Shiva immediately disappeared. And after Lord Shiva's departure, you became very morose and fearful about your future life. In this way, after a few days, you left your body by the arrangement of providence. Lord Sri Krishna then said, "O Arjuna, in the meantime, the great King Drupada was performing an elaborate sacrifice. And from this sacrificial fire, the young Brahmani took birth. She appeared as the daughter of Maharaj Drupada. O Arjuna, the same daughter of Medhavi Rishi has now become famous as this world as Draupadi. She is none other than your present wife. And because she blasphemed Purushottama month in her previous life, she was insulted by Dushashan in front of the whole Kuru assembly in the presence of all her 5 husbands. Fortunately, she remembered me and took shelter of me. Forgiving her offenses, I protected her from that most abominable condition and saved her from the hands of Dushashan. Oh, dear Pandava brothers, please do not forget to worship the forthcoming Purushottama month. A person who blasphemes Purushottama month and does not worship her, and who doesn't worship me, will never attain good fortune. This Purushottama month is fully potent to fulfill all desires and remove all miseries. Now your 14 years of forest life is coming to an end. So please worship this Purushottama month sincerely, for it will bestow all good fortune upon you." Thus, the Pandavas, headed by Yudhishthira, thus worshipped Purushottama Sri Krishna in various ways during the sacred month. And the merit they achieved by performing Purushottama Vrat meant that they regained their lost kingdom. And after enjoying a happy life, they all returned back to Godhead by the grace of Sri Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.